Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Amy.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be discussing Birthday List by Devney Perry.
It is our podcast's third birthday. Happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday.
Which is why we chose this book to celebrate today. The first few minutes, we're going to do a brief review of this story, and then we are going to shift into a deeper book discussion that's going to include lots of spoilers. But don't worry, as always, we're going to let you know before we do shift over into that deeper book discussion.
That's right. So before we dive in, Amy, tell us just a little bit about Birthday List.
When a young woman's husband dies suddenly, she sets out to work on his annual birthday bucket type list. When she sets out to accomplish taking a karate class as one of the list items, she does not expect to run into the police officer who brought the tragic news that rocked her world to her doorstep 5 years ago at this class. This is a story of adventure, taking chances, and starting over. Sarah, what did you think about the birthday list?
I want to say that I felt very sad throughout, given the context of the story, but I wasn't. I was actually very uplifted. It reminded me so much of Amy because she does a birthday list.
I do.
Every single year. So it just, I guess I associated that kind of idea, concept with you, and it just kind of made me happy. I will say it's a very unique take on a grieving process and overcoming grief and working through that. I really like Devney Perry's writing, and I loved this story. What did you think?
Of course, I loved it. I love a good list. I especially love a birthday list as someone who makes my own each year to celebrate the year. I have different goals, and so I really, really related to this story in that way, and I felt like, just like you said, it's a great way, not great, but it's an interesting twist to the grieving process and still getting to, live through the memories of her husband through things that he wanted to accomplish. And I really enjoyed the, her getting to do that with this new man in her life and have him be a part of that.
It was so good.
Let's get into our ratings. Angst.
It was just a 1.
Same.
Yeah.
Devney Perry's not traditionally a heavily angsty author to me, and I appreciate that about her writing style. Humor.
Okay, I just put like 0.25 because I didn't really...
I did 0.75 to 1. I'm going to stick with 0.75. There was some chuckling, lighthearted moments, but it's not overly humorous. Spiciness.
I put like a 1.5.
I did 1.75.
Yeah. Some
description and frequency led me to that, but not overly so. Tears.
You think it would be higher, but only did a 1.
Same. Yeah. I didn't cry, but the premise is sad.
Yes, that's it right there, what you said.
Overall.
This was a 4.5. I love this story.
I gave it 4.25. I love a good adventure list, as I've already said. I love making lists, so this story was right up my alley. That concludes the spoiler-free quick review of this story. Now we're going to shift into a deeper book discussion that's going to include lots of spoilers. If you would like to continue on with us into that deeper discussion, simply click that link below or open any podcast platform and simply search Post-Book Depression. We would love to connect with you on social media. You can find us on Instagram at Post-Book Depression Podcast, on Facebook in our Post-Book Depression discussion group, and you can also email us at postbookdepressionpodcast@gmail.com.